actually site manager for Compute Nordic. Uh, Limited Compute Nordic is actually a British company headquartered in London. And we have data centers in Nordic, like we have big data center in Norway, multiple sites we have, and we have a big capacity of around 1.4 gigawatt in Finland. So, and, uh, and now we have in panel, I have Pramod with us, and what I can see, there is a huge generation curve you can see with us. Like we have a youngster, Pramod is there, who is a co-founder and CTO of a CoEdge data center. Then we have Mr. Sanjay. Sanjay sir is, like you can say, pioneer in the industry. Now he's SVP of the project in Yotta data center. Like we know each other so well, and Sanjay sir is like quite fascinating in the operation and project. He did multiple remarks apart from this earlier. And then we have another co-founder of the cloud, Bharath Cloud. I just got to know that like people in India, like they are expanding in so much thing, and young blood and everyone is just looking. And so I think it's time to start our session, and I will just give mic to other speakers to give their bit introduction. And like as we say, the world is actually quite confused with the term technology and the business. So we are not going to discuss any technology or anything. It's just a discussion between two business models. Cloud was never a technology. It was a business model running on a stack of technology. And same thing, the new thing, like everything is a ask. I'm just thinking someday it will be Gaurav Dixit as a service somewhere where I'm earning money from consultation. So it's a GPU as a service, which is, and again, not something, a technology, it's a kind of business model. So now over to you, Pramod, just to give a bit intro to the people.
Thank you so much. So I'm privileged to be a part of the panel. First of all, thank you so much for the invitation. Secondly, my name is Pramod Pathak. I am a founder and CTO of CoEdge data centers. We are located in Pune. What we are building? So we are building the advanced cloud compute platform backed by AI-ready modular edge data center, and we are quite passionate about it, and we are moving at very good pace into the technology, and I think we will be breaking some more traditional paths in the way. Thank you so much for the opportunity to introduce myself. Gaurav, over to you, sir.
Thank you to W.Media for inviting for this session. My name is Sanjay Kuntal. We are creating data centers for Yotta, and we have installed so many GPUs and for our nation use. So good to discussion on that, how to take business decision, either GPUaaS, SaaS or own GPU. Thank you.
Hi, thank you W.Media for inviting me here, and thank you the panelists. So my name is Rahul, and I'm the co-founder of Bharath Cloud. Bharath Cloud is indigenously built in India from Hyderabad, and we are trying to cater to the SMB sector and solve the problem of digital first. Thank you.
So let's start from the first question, and I think I cannot resist my hunger for the text. So first question I would like to throw to Pramod as a technical question. So Pramod, like the way last couple of years the technology evolved, like there were data centers somewhere with a smaller volume, and then this AI wave came, and now you can see like we are currently up to B300s cloud and all those things now, Rubin Ultra somewhere in between 2027. Like we have to make a data center. Then earlier they said, okay, let's make a business model of providing cloud where you are just giving infra to someone else, like someone is using computer. Now you just have to provide what we say only GPUs, like a small part of that. And that actually creates a biggest trouble of security, like GDPR and all other law invoked. So how you see this technical bifurcation?
Thanks, Gaurav. That's a good question. How I see it, basically, GPU as a service that we are talking about is kind of evolving. Earlier, 15 years back, there was the same kind of way that happened for CPU or the business model that you are talking about. So this CPU as a service or the whole infrastructure, the traditional infrastructure, happened 15 years back. Now GPU as a service is coming up. the thing that driving GPU as a service is not the demand or the users, it is the demand of the AI models, and that is the core of it. The CPU or the earlier business model that was driven by the huge demand and increasing demand. It's not the case for the GPUs. Plus, it's not the key that if you see, say for example, from here to 2030, the company having most GPU won't win. The company who is using the GPU smartly and efficiently, keeping the interoperability in place, is going to win. And that's how we believe it, and that's how we are building it. That's the core of it.
Oh, thank you, Rahul. I think that's a quite good insight. Now, next question I will put to Sanjay sir, and as like his forte of preparing the data center. So, Sanjay, the thing is like the way technology evolved and it created problem for the technical people, but as a basic start, it created more problem for the civil structures. That means currently with the B300, the per square meter load capacity is somewhere 3000 kilos. Rubin Ultra, that's where somewhere going around 5000 kilo. That simply means the traditional buildings and all those are unable to cater the load. And already the data centers are in place, and it's not something because India is a place where we have very small, like the lands are kind of encroaching, so we need to go multi-story. But the moment when the load goes to this higher volume and the things are changing, and we really don't know 2027 is 5000 kilowatt, 2029 will be. So how you see that as a mechanical system or how as a civil system, how your team is catering that, that is something very fascinating to know.
It's quite interesting that GPU technology is evolving like anything, and every quarter new models of GPU is coming with the different configurations. In traditional data centers, we are making around 10 to 15 kilowatt per rack and loading capacity maximum 1000 kilogram per square feet. Now it is going up to 3000 kilowatt per square feet and more in future. Parallelly, that cooling load was started from 15 kilowatt, now it is now 60, 70 kilowatt per rack in the air cooled. In future, it is going up to 500 kilowatt per rack, which we are anticipating in next 2-3 years. So now our discussion is that we are going to make our own data center. It will take a lot of time, and most of the data center players, they are already sense that how that technology is evolving. They started making ready buildings to host this kind of loads, and what kind of cooling and energy infrastructure they are creating for this. So in the market, most of the cloud operators, they started working on this. So it is good. We are preparing for that.
So that, yeah, everybody is prepared. That's why the world is running, because the AI demand is coming in like a giant when and it's almost suffice. So next question I would put to Rahul, and so Rahul, it's moreover from a business, it's just a some kind of ethical thing which actually what I assume is missing from the businesses now, that when we go for a business, the first thing we have to take care of our planet, because we don't have any other planet to survive, and we have to take care of some business ethics. So Rahul, the question is, when like what I see also, like this time if I see the more than the use of AI, there is an abuse of AI. When people are coming for GPUs, which they have to rent, is there any way you guys try to assure that where is the usage, because that's what NVIDIA is controlling also, where is the usage, whether that will be for a humanity or just for some fun sake, or someone is having $1 billion in their account and they just want to do some show or something like that. So how do you guys assure that the business is actually for betterment of this planet or betterment of the generation or the better use of AI?
Well, Gaurav, I think that's a very interesting question, but I think I will not be the right guy to answer that. But I'll try whatever I can from my side. See, I think AI is still, what, 2022 November when OpenAI started the GPT, that's where the whole journey started, right? So 3 years from now. So it's only 3 years, and see what's happening. The bubble you call it, buzz you call it, or abuse you call it, but it is AI. So how everybody is consuming AI, what is happening to us? You just look at ourselves at a personal level. I don't think we Google for anything nowadays. Anything you need it, I'm sure we are all using GPT, Gemini or some other LLM which is giving you accurate research reports or any information you want. It gives you just like that. So at an individual level, we started using AI. So when, to answer your question, how the abuse is happening, AI is your emotional partner also today. Today you want just to talk to someone because of whatever. Even I tried talking to AI, hey, how are you doing, just like that, just for fun. It replies. It soothes you out. Honestly, it soothes you out. Instead of talking to someone whom you know that he will not respond, it soothes you out. So when you look at it from a controlled perspective, I think very recently, 2 days back, the government has released a AI governance policy also was out. So AI is gone into the depth of an individual, so it is a matter of time when businesses will start seeing it. I'll stick to the topic where it is about traditional to GPUs, right? So why the traditional has to be ready for an upgrade? At an individual level, when we are starting to consume so much of LLMs and so much of AI, it is matter of time when business applications will be built on SLMs. A lot of research is happening, a lot of innovation is happening, a lot of funding is happening at a startup level. If you are not ready for your GPU from your traditional infrastructure, you will be outdated. It is simple as this, okay? You have your mobiles which are 6 or 7 years old, latest applications can't be functioning on them. So why you have to upgrade your phones is only to ensure that smooth flow of the new age applications is there. So if you traditionally built CPU infrastructure or your other infrastructure for your basic functionality for the tomorrows, as I think I'll go with Pramod and what Sanjay ji has said, the models are changing. The cards, the AI cards, the GPU cards which are coming is changing. So to understand how to consume the GPUs, I think it's still very, very confusing because every application developer in the town wants the latest. सबको latest phone चाहिए, latest cards चाहिए. But is it practically, it's not cost effective. And what is exactly needed is we just have to build a platform. You have to get the mindset that you have to move from traditional to the new age applications have to come in. Build that basic. You can start with as small as L40 also. We at Bharath Cloud, we slice L40. So it is important you get your right strategy. It could be a startup, it could be an established organization. Getting your cloud and GPU strategy is the key. Today, hyperscalers give a lot of credits. I would say I appreciate it, but you should be careful in how your strategy is coming in. How you're jumping from traditional. Don't get intimidated or don't get into that FOMO mode of all the latest Blackwell cards and the huge cards, liquid cooling. Everything is too good jargons for us. I personally feel we are evolving. As he said, it will take another 15-20 years when GPUs will become the new norm. But it might not take 15-20, but we might see the new norm happening very soon. But the readiness, the mindset at an individual level is important, is what I feel. And being, again coming back to your question of abusive and all, it is, government can bring in laws, but it is at individual level we need to know. We should be cognizant and we should ensure as a nation how the AI is consumed, collaborating with each other, ensuring that GPU consumption is happening across various sectors to ensure the productivity and the functionalities are improved at various sectors. Yeah.
I think you well answered, Rahul, that. You tried very well. And the example which you gave is very fascinating. I see people in the stores just asking ChatGPT which are happy with best from my toilet. You can see the color and see the way things going on. And I think with your question, with your answer, I just got a question which which actually I would like to get from Pramod. So Pramod, being a techie, how do you think it's convincing for the customer to tell them what he's saying, that there is no need to go with the trend that if B300 is the latest, go with the B300 or B200 or maybe 20% with the Rubins. How you think it's convincing CEOs or the business people or the customer sales is coming that they can opt the lower models, or what exactly right with their business, or do they allow you to assess their business and then give the requirement? Is it something you see, or it's just trend going on?
It is, it is definitely not a trend. Before I answer that, I would like to touch down on the previous question about the data and the how compliant, or if someone can abuse the GPUs or something like that. I think we need to redirect our efforts, our interest over keeping the data sovereignty in place. That is very, very important today, because whenever you ask anything to the chat GPT or any LLM model, it eventually goes to US and hits one of the data centers and the GPUs. I'm not saying about the boundaries, but I'm saying about the compliance part. On the compliance part, we need to make sure to start on the data sovereignty as well as the GPU sovereignty in the front. Not keeping the boundaries, not fighting about it, but we need to be cautious about it. About your second question, while designing the architecture, it is not about the latest, or someone wants to use H200, H100, A100 or some chips. So chip needs to be picked up based on the architecture, on the orchestration layer. So the orchestration layer is the most important while designing any cloud application. So from here onwards, it is not about the general cloud or GPU cloud or the AI ready cloud. It is all about the smart cloud. It's a need of the hour that we need to focus, or we need to think about building a normal GPU based architecture as well as GPU based architecture. So both are important, and how you use one and the other makes you win the game on the cost basis, on the returns basis, and on the processing basis. Because if you focus on one, there will be a lesser latency but higher cost to the end customer. So we need to be cautious about it, and it's the era of the smart cloud. It's not now about the general usage cloud or the GPU cloud.
Thanks, Pramod. I think you said it right. Data sovereignty is actually the necessity, and more than the government bring the policies and law, it's an individual responsibility to follow them and see what exactly is something betterment for the future. Right? We already have laws in all the segments, and how much we follow, that's clearly known to everyone here. Again, I would like back to Sanjay sir, since I had been part of operations a long journey. There are hundreds of megawatt delivery, and the challenge is that when the sales comes, when they ask sales when it can be delivered, and always the answer is yesterday. And when it comes to the operation, they know the truth. So how hard you feel, Sanjay sir, when this GPUs or because Yotta already has their own cloud. They have, I think, 2 or 3 clouds, if I'm not mistaken, and now they are a big provider of GPU. How you feel challenges in the part of projects and operation, that it's easy or it's more fun, or oh no, it's not that?
It is not easy. If you see that we are talking about H100 and other Robin Ultra and all, so I just give you some examples. One GPU chip is around 2.4, 2.5 kilowatt, and area of that chip is around 755 square millimeter. You can say equivalent to 110 rupees coin. It is generating heat of 2.5 kilowatt. This is more than an atomic reactor heat flux generated per square feet. So this is not easy to cool this much load in a small rack. It is not easy to handle that spikes of power coming when you are doing that computing. This power goes very high and going very down. So handling these all the issues in design, implementing right infrastructure for the data center. Apart from this, every time you will get different configuration of the new GPU. Every quarter you are getting new GPU. So it is not easy, but it is quite interesting. It is giving a lot of work to our design team, implementation team, to work daily, keep monitoring what is coming in the market, how to implement our existing infra to handle this kind of load. It is quite interesting, and parallelly, this kind of load is not a common data center. So we have to educate our operation team how to handle this kind of load. We have to convince grid power suppliers how to handle, because load is going up and down, they are not able to do any prediction on the load. So these lot of things are there, but it is interesting journey.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay sir. I think the way he described all the problems which he is facing, I'm facing, I faced a lot in, and I can see everybody present in the room is part of the operations or cooling or something. They were just thinking, oh, he's just describing my own pain. It's something like that. Now I will have next question to Rahul again. So Rahul, as you mentioned about the new policies which government is bringing, what shift you see in your customer base, or what you think like the demand changes when the government changes the policies? Like, does that impact the business, whether they will opt for this traditional clouds or GPUs, or is still irrespective of the government their demands are same, that I need the cloud, then I need the cloud, I'm not going for GPUs? What?
Policy has got nothing much, because it's only going to govern the demand, and how the cloud has entered our life. I was just seeing this says Cloud 9. So why do you think a water bottle needs to be named cloud? Matlab, cloud has become, it's come into our life, so we have to agree and accept. So you have to deal with the cloud. It's like those days, I think about 50, 60 years back, when banks came and said you can keep your gold and cash in the banks. None of us really were so confident, but now we don't even know where who's built that locker or how safe it is. You just blindly trust. You don't keep gold in the house, you go and keep it in a locker. So similarly, when you can keep gold and cash in the banks, today the data is getting multiplied at exponential speed. About 10 years back, the way data was getting generated is not the same, and you can't even predict with this new age applications generating so much data. And you have to get ready with your new age applications. I'll come back to the same point again, is you have to change your mindset and understand that the change has to be adopted. If you do not adopt the change, you are heading towards some kind of trouble. So you have to ensure that your partner is right, and I can quote one more acronym here as IPL. IPL is nothing but you have to isolate, plan for long term. Isolate your workload. There are various workloads in an organization. It could be anything. You identify which is critical, which is, you can predict little bit, you can predict what is, and prediction is not, no more, you can't build something for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years and all. It is all about a quarter or 2 quarters. That is the way, that dynamic the world is changing. And you have to isolate, plan for a long term. And you should have the right partners guiding you. It is not needed that you go with one partner. There are a lot of consultants, and I'll touch upon what Pramod was saying, is sovereignty is something we all should be cognizantly working towards. And we have to, globe is a small village now, but understanding the global warfare which has changed. Data is weaponized, trade is weaponized. So we all, as citizens of India, we need to be cognizant of where we are going towards and ensure that we plan in the right way. As long as the nation is depending on the MSMEs or the enterprises and we adopt technology in the right way, we are together, we can face any kind of, I'm digressing into too many things, but I feel technology is something all of us cognizantly have to adopt. IPL is something, again I'll say, isolate, plan for long term.
Yeah, thanks Rahul. And I think the way you say the waters are now cloud, I think very soon with the GPU trend, people will say, oh my kid, B200 is quite anger issues. It will be like that, people will name their kid. So the, next question to you, again, I will put Pramod there. So, like, how you think the future will be? It's just it's something which none of us can answer, but it really like all of us some kind of prediction, and it's like it's to three of you. What you think will be the exact future? Whether it will be more towards the cloud again, the way it's going on, or the people will just choose GPUs or what they want.
So again, the answer is it depends. Basically, what is the need? It will be based on that. If a company needs the GPU for the training or for such purposes, then they can own the GPUs. If, say, for example, someone needs the GPUs just for the inference or some other use cases, then yeah, I mean, they don't need to go through that pain of procuring, maintaining, keeping, or having a co-location partner, such as Sanjay said. Um, yeah, so basically it depends. GPU service you can use. Clients are going to use their own GPUs. If their consistent usage of the GPU service is more than 70% or 80%, then that makes sense. Otherwise, as I said earlier, it is all about the smart cloud now. You have to combine the workloads from the normal cloud versus the GPU as a cloud, because GPU as a service is going to be costly at least sometime in the future, till sometime in the future, because there is, I don't think there is a way for now at least, because NVIDIA is coming up with newer chips. After H200 they are going with the Blackwell, and the Blackwell architecture is completely different from the H200, and then that architecture change itself needs the workload change, and the workload change is going to need the rework. So I think moving forward from your question, we need to think about, or at least as an industry, we need to think about standardizing the workloads throughout the GPUs. So currently, it is a vendor locked-in process. So if you are tied up with one vendor for a specific workload, you are tied up there. If you want to migrate from one vendor to the other vendor, it is a very painful process for the GPUs at least, because they are designed in such a way that, for example, NVIDIA's CUDA is not 100% compatible with AMD's ROCm model or ROCm architecture. So we need to be cautious, and we need to be cognizant about it, that we need a common standard for the workload, and that's how we go from there. That's what I think.
Thanks, Pramod. Thanks. I think I got quite successful in turning a business discussion to a core technical that many people are saying, oh, what is going on? Like people are talking a core technology, which but that's okay. So again, back to Sanjay. Like since I had seen the Yotta's journey, like they had an exponential curve because you have so many clouds and GPUs, all those things. And what my prediction for future is maybe after 5 years or somewhere, customers will not choose the data centers. The data centers will choose the customer who have the power, and they see where the demand goes. And power is actually another challenging. How you think the coming GPUs or even clouds, they were also not power cheap. They were also power hungry. They guzzle huge amount of power. How you think the government support or the backup support will helping you out there with the power?
So now again, when we are going for the cloud-based GPU as service, so most of the service providers will have sufficient power, and they can baseline the total compute requirement. So load will not go from the TDP higher than TDP. We have some smart cloud or our own GPU service. So that has to be balanced. If you have your own LLM models which can run 24/7 or 365 days, then it is okay. If it is running for some shorter period, then they will face this issue. Sometimes it will be on the full load, they will not get sufficient power at that time. And that's why GPU as a service will be a good model to baseline that total load and cater all the requirement, not only power, and they can get other services apart from bare GPU, software services and all. So without hassles, they can manage their everything on the cloud GPU service. So on the cloud operators, they have sufficient power availability. They have planned for the future. Next, for thousands of GPU power is surplus with them.
Yeah, that's great. Like, so what is like that's I think I like said in the start that everybody's uh, prepared to accommodate the demand. That's why word is running. That whatever is coming, people are saying. So, Rahul, what you feel like being a cloud founder and giving cloud to the world? How much the data center guys are giving support you, or you ever feel that one day no? I don't think I can much go with them. I will like to have my own. That will be a good business model. Whether I sell my cloud, I sell my GPUs, or sell a data center. How you think about that business? It's totally out of box question.
No, no, that is something which we are fighting with the policymakers. So, but see, I'll pass that question. That's different. We have to talk it at a policy level, which we are doing aggressively. See, I would want to take that question which you asked, Pramod, the future, right? So when you asked, I was just thinking, we all practically have seen the James Bond fiction which we grew up, or the fictional movies which we saw. Everything is real today. So future, what is going to happen? I don't know. Well, we will be probably hibernating somewhere, and our clones will be working everywhere. Today you see the very quick commerce. You don't worry. You go anywhere. Myntra gives you in 1 hour. These guys give you in 10 minutes. And the robots are doing so much. So predicting the future is very, very difficult. But the fun part apart, the reality is we all are business owners. We are all responsible. In the industry, we need to ensure that we plan for the future, adopting technology in the right way, not falling for just because there is a new phone in the market you can't purchase, just because there is a new GPU card in the market you can't go and purchase. Unless you really test that card, you don't have to jump into it. And there are a lot of applications which do not require such high-end cards. So I would very strongly recommend whoever is trying to start their cloud journey or the GPU journey, it's important for you to do that IPL. Isolate your workload, plan for a long term. That's it.
Yes, thanks, Rahul. I think you try to turn, but you just went to the right spot. And before I go for the next question or something, I have a story because that's something related to, because every business later goes with the demand. First, we have to convince with the management layer. And my mechanical professor, I remember many years ago, told me a story. That was a time when MBA was coming into the vogue and everybody was so fascinated, like MBAs were on top and everything. So there was a ground and there was like all management lobby was there, and they were trying to take a flag on the pole. So they were trying to climb the pole and they tried everything to put a flag on the pole. And they were slipping and all those things failed. And there was a guy standing there, an engineer, and he said, sir, and what actually they were trying to put a flag, and they were trying to measure the length of the pole, how tall it is. And he thought, I think it's not a good way, the management is struggling. He said, sir, may I? And they said, yes. He went, he took out the nail from the pole, he took it down, he measured the pole, and he says that this is what you were trying. And they said, no, this is not something what you did correct. We were actually interested in the height of pole, and what you gave me is the length of pole. So same thing happens when we go for the whether some customer is coming, because first layer discussion always goes with the sales and the business people, and it's always tough for a CTO, techie to make them understand what the technology is, how it is working. It's tough for the operation to convince them that it's not that something I can provide you tomorrow, because a 200 kilowatt power in a square meter area, it's a power bomb, right? Just if you make one mistake, you can kill a person. So it's not that easy, I can deliver it tomorrow. And same with the business people, like it's not that something you say, I need 2000 GPUs tomorrow, or I need this cloud size which should be kind of very scalable like this. So this challenge you guys feel in the daily life, and I know everybody feels that. My question is how you guys tackle that, so maybe I get some tips to do that.
I mean, we are still a growing startups, not really a startup, but we are still growing, and we are gathering the customers, so we don't feel that pressure yet, but we are being ready for that, having technical team very much aligned to it, and then keeping our sale to the target people or target customers very well. So targeting the customer is the key, I think, in the today's era.
So this is independent decision for the business owner has to take, as Bharath has clearly mentioned that it should be isolate plant. So this upgradation happening every time. So this should be quite cash intensive decision. We have to make our own team and all. So this all and security, all the factors have to be considered. After that, decision should be taken. Very careful decision has to be taken.
Yeah, I think, see, understanding the customer is very important. India is a very diversified country, so we should understand and tailor it accordingly. The south you call a bottle gourd or sorkai, and in the north you call it lauki. It's just a vegetable prepared very differently, correct? So similarly, every 200 kilometers we understand dialect changes, taste change. So tech taste buds is something I would say. Understanding the tech taste buds of the customer, put some effort before we quote something as business owner, as an operation or a sales or a tech person. India needs lot of tailoring, and we need to understand we are very, very choosy guys. So food which is not understood cannot be consumed. Technology if it is not understood can never be consumed. So we have to put that extra mile of effort and try to make little effort and try to tailor the solution accordingly. And I'm sure we will not oversize solutions or undersize solutions.
So thanks to everyone. I think this bazaar is up and it's time. BRS has been taken. So it was quite nice, fascinating with all my co-panelists and to all the audience to listening it very patiently. And thanks to everyone. Thanks to W.Media.